भागवतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, we'll recite the verse. You can repeat after me. Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Vacha
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Papam Charati Purushaha
Papam Charati Purushaha
Nicchinna Pashya
Anichannapi Varshneya
Baladiva Niyojitaha
Baladiva Niyojitaha
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Papam Charati Purushaha
Papam Charati Purushaha
Anichannapi Varshneya
Anichannapi Varshneya
Baladiva Niyojitaha
Baladiva Niyojitaha
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Papam Charati Purushaha
Papam Charati Purushaha
Anichannapi Varshneya
Anichannapi Varshneya
Baladiva Niyojitaha.
Baladiva Niyojitaha.
Anyone would like to recite the verse?
Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna
Vacha
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Papam Charati Purushaha
Papam Charati Purushaha
Anichannapi Varshneya
Anichan Api Varshneya
Baladiva Niyojitaha.
Baladivano Niyojitaha
अथकेन प्रमुक्तोऽयं
Atakena Prayuktoyam
पापं चरति पुरुषः
Papam
Papam Charati
Charati
Purushaha
Purushaha
अनिच्छन्नोऽपि वाष्णेय
Anichannapi
Anichannapi
Varshneya
Varshneya
बलादिव नियोजितः
Baladiva
Baladivano
Niyojitaha.
Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Vacha
उवाच
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Atakena Prayuktoyam
Papam Charati Purushaha
Papam Charati Purushaha
Anichan Api Varshneya
Anichannapi Varshneya
Baladiva Niyojitaha
Baladiva Niyojitaha.
अर्जुन उवाच
Arjuna
Arjuna
Vacha
Vacha
अथकेन प्रयुक्तोऽयम्
Atakena
Atakena
Prayuktoyam
Prayuktoyam
पापं चरति पूरुषः
Papam
Papam
Charati
Charati
Purushaha
Purushaha
अनिच्छन्नपि वाष्णेय
Anichannapi
Anichannapi
Varshneya
Varshneya
बलादिव नियोजितः
बलादिव नियोजितः
नियोजितः
Okay, we'll go for synonyms. Arjuna Uvacha.
अर्जुनोवाच
Arjuna said.
Arjuna said
Ata,
Ata
then.
then
Kena,
Kena
by what?
by what
Prayuktaha,
Prayuktaha
impelled.
impelled
I am
I am
one.
one.
Papam,
Papam
since.
Since
Charati,
Charati
does.
does
Purushaha,
Purushaha
a man.
a man
Anichan,
Anichan
without desire.
without desiring
Api,
Api
although.
although
Varshneya,
Varshneya
O descendant of Vrishni.
O
who
descendant
descended
of
of
Vrishni
Balat,
Balad
by force.
by
by
force
Iva,
Eva
as if.
as if
Niyojitaha,
Niyojitaha
engaged.
engaged.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Purport. A living entity as part and parcel of the Supreme is originally spiritual, pure, and free from all material contaminations. Therefore, by nature, he is not subject to the sins of the material world. But when he is in contact with the material nature, he acts in many sinful ways without hesitation and sometimes even against his will. As such, Arjuna's question to Krishna is very sanguine as to the perverted nature of the living entities. Although the living entity sometimes does not want to act in sin, he is still forced to act. Sinful actions are not, however, impelled by the super soul within, but are due to another cause, as the Lord explains in the next verse. Translation once again. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Okay, so let's see this verse. So we are in the section like it's a fresh section. It's starting from 36th verse to 43 verse. It's called like a lust series. Like it's Krishna speaks from here onwards about the lust. So so far we discussed in third chapter, like first it started like karma yoga is better than jnana yoga, like that, and difference between karma kanda and karma yoga. And if jnana yoga is you are qualified, then still do karma yoga to set an example. So we discussed Krishna shared the examples of himself and Janaka Maharaj there. And Krishna requests Arjuna, even if you qualified for Jnana Yoga, to renounce everything, but still fight in the battlefield and set an example for the next generations. So, and again, Krishna explains about the Karma Yoga and Karma Kanda and the differences we have seen from 25th verse to 29. So, Karma Yoga, which means like, we don't get bondage there, but Karma Kanda, we get bondage. And next 30 to 35 karma yoga is going to elevate if one performs in work in karma yoga, so it elevates. Then after that one, like now Arjuna is putting a question to Krishna, Atakena. Let's see this verse. This verse, it's saying Atakena prayuktoyam. So Arjuna is asking, so prayukta means impelled. Papam charati purushaha. Purusha means the human being. Papam charati. So what makes like to do that person, like the sinful acts? So anichannapi varshneya, without desiring. Even the person don't want to do that work, but what makes him the force to do that work? So here Krishna called as Arjuna called Krishna as Varshneya. Varshneya means like a descendant of Vrishni. Vrishni is the Vamsha of Krishna. So in a Vrishni Vamsha, Krishna descendant. That's why he's called as Varshneya, or descendant of Vrishni. Balad even yojitaha. So what kind of work that one? By force. Balad. So forcefully. What is that? What is that? That one which makes the person, even though he don't want to do, but forcefully he's going to do that work. So that's what it's explained in 36th verse. That's what it's Arjuna is asking here. Here we can see 30 to 35, as I said, Karga elevates, right? So 33rd verse, Krishna says like, strictly to do your duty. And 34, even if by strictly doing your prescribed duty, doing your duty, don't succumb to the Raga Dvesha. That's what it says in 34th verse. It says Raga Dvesha Vyavastitav. Indriyasendriyarthi. So by don't get succumb to the sense and sense objects, and to Raga and Dvesha. So don't get succumb. Do your work, but don't get attached to that one. And try to control your sensory desires. So now for that one, Arjuna is putting a question: what is that makes like the person to do that forcefully impel the sinful activities? So here anichannapi is a key word here in this word. It says the person don't want to do, but baladiva, some force is, inner force is making them to do. So that one, like, what is that one is? That is the answer. It explains in the coming verse. That is called lust. So let's see that question, like, contemplate on that question, like, how that Arjuna asks this one. See, if we take why Arjuna is putting that question, by force someone do the act, even if they don't want to do. So take an example of alcoholic. So if a person who is addicted to the alcohol, and after some time he realized he want to get rid of that habit. So he is in good mood. He says that when I don't want to drink, I don't want to do that activity. So what will happen again? He repeatedly do that work. What makes him to do that work is, see, that is the thing. Like when he is nice mode, or not like, when he listens some good instructions, you don't want to do that one. But when the kind of a spike of desires, like at one point it goes in a peak, and it makes them like the rope of attachment towards the alcohol bottle. It makes him, that rope pulls him. So just within fraction of seconds, like, he takes, oh, let's do this time, like last time, like that. So the mind plays tricks, and that makes that force, that force is there, right? The spike of, like, want to do that desire, that pulls towards to the alcohol. Then the person, like, drinks. So that is the thing, that short time, like, what making that inner thing, like, to pull. So that force is called as lust. So that we will discuss in the next verse. But during that period of the temptation, like, that fraction of, or whatever, the few minutes of that one, so during the period of the temptation, so we think that desires of the sense objects is our desire. Okay, my senses are pulling towards to that one. Want to do, want to drink, just go and touch that thing, or just go and see that thing, or hear something. So the senses pulls that towards to that one. But then that time we feel, okay, the desire of that sense object is our desire. So that makes that force, which makes, so okay, let's do this one, like, that's how, like, we get tempted towards to the sense objects, and we get trapped into that lust. trapped into that kind of activity, whatever it may be. Even it is just I took an alcoholic example, but it may be something else also. The people who are very addicted to see the serials, it may be serials. What happened to that character in the serial, and what happened to that one, like, going into that thing and making to ear always says, go ahead and hear that one, or watch that one, or touch something like that. So we don't know, like, we are trapped, but repeatedly we are trapping into that thing only. So that invisible ropes were are there, those are called as attachments. So it makes us that attachments makes, like, our sense objects to pull towards to that activity. So that's what I said, like, the draw part of attachment between the bottle and the alcoholic is the want to enjoy that taste, or whatever the flickering enjoyment. So desire to be like, I want to become sober, I don't want to do that thing. It's there, even though the person desires that thing, but still the inner force, something is there within us which makes us forcefully do that thing. So that is the thing, like, when example, one more example, if a master is there, we see a lot of people here, like, they takes dogs for a walk outside, right? So they hold the dog with the leash. So when sometimes the master, what he do, if he go to the dog park or some no people are there, he gives the some rope, let's walk around that area, the dog. So the dog feels, oh, okay, I got a freedom. So it runs from here and there, because whenever the dog want to go on its will, but the leash, like, owner holds the thing back. But now he gave some rope loose, so that at some area around that master, the dog can go freely. Maybe the master can sit and wash the dog like that. But the minute, like, when the dog feels I'm free, I go, I run left side, I go right side, and I go whichever direction I want. But immediately that when the master pulls the leash, hold that thing tight, then that what will happen, hey, I thought of I'm free, but again I got in control of my master. So that's how the senses, like, that we feel like I'm free, I can go, I can do anything for some time, the fraction of times. That is the how it's which is making us to do all the sinful activities. We feel that one, but immediately when we commit that sinful act and come back, oh, why did I spoke like that? I should not behave like, like that, like, I did like a very wrong thing, like that. We realize a lot of things in our we self ourselves also in our daily life. I was little reacted more, I should not be like that, I should not scold, I should not like, scream like that. So that inner, that few minutes, even the part which is not in our control, that is called lust, and the lust transforms into the wrath, that is anger. So what is that, what is that force, which where does it come, and where it originates, and how it is going to cover the conditioned soul, and how can we control that one? Each and everybody have that one. So all these questions are answered nicely coming verses after 36 to after 30, from 37 to 43. It's a very nice series. If everyone can contemplate these verses in our practical life, everyone, because it says each and every living entity is covered by lust in different degrees. Nobody is escaped from this one, but it different degrees means that is also comes in the coming verses. So as it is in each, it is there in each and every living entity. So we directly contemplate these verses in our life, and we can take some points to Gita wisdom points, like, so that we can correct ourselves, and we can move towards to the Krishna's words. So very very important series of this last. So that's what I have for this verse. It's a short thing, and Arjuna question. If anybody have anything or any realizations or questions, you can share now. I'll take a pause here. Anyone have anything to share about this?
Just a question, Malavi Gopi. What is it that compels us to do things against our will?
Mataji, can you repeat it? Sorry.
What is it that compels us to do things against our will?
That's what the answer going to come in next verse, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Asking
will
to
read
say.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, we will read now. Nice series of verses, like, Yeah, we'll read Mataji. Maybe after reading that thing, if still you have means, we will discuss Mataji.
Okay.
Okay, so then we will go for the next verse. I'll share my screen. So text number 37. Krishna is answering now. So Arjuna put a question. Now Krishna is going to speak. So the verse is Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kamayesha Krodayesha Rajo Guna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Viddena Mihavairinam. So here
Mahashano Mahapapna. Okay. I'm sorry.
Viddena Mihavairinam. Go ahead, Mataji. So I'll read the synonyms and I will read the translation in purport and we will discuss. So synonyms, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the personality of Godhead said, Kamaha, lust, Eshaha, this, Krodaha, wrath, Eshaha, this, Rajaha Guna, the mode of passion, Samudbhavaha, born of, Mahashanaha, all devouring, Mahapapma, greatly sinful, Viddhi, no, Enam, this, Iha, in the material world, Vairinam, greatest enemy. Translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Purport. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. Or, in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust as milk in contact with the sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Then again, when lust is unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, and it is lust only which induces the pure living entity to remain entangled in the material world. Wrath is the manifestation of the mode of ignorance. These modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many for his ever increasing spiritual bliss, and the living entities are parts and parcel of this spiritual bliss. They also have partial independence, but by misuse of their independence, when the service attitude is transformed into the propensity for sense enjoyment, they come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill these lustful propensities, and when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entities begin to conquer about their real position. This inquiry is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutras, wherein it is said, Atato Brahma Jignasa. One should inquire into the Supreme, and the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Janmadi Asyato Nvayad Itaratascha, or the origin of everything is the Supreme Brahman. Therefore, the origin of lust is also in the Supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Rama, exhibited his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana, but by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, becomes our friends instead of our enemies. Okay, translation once again. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the more material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Okay, so let's see this verse here. Kama. Kama means lust. Kama yesha, krodha yesha. So this kama, this lust, and this wrath. Wrath means anger. This anger. So how it comes? Rajoguna samudbhava. Samudbhava means like taking birth or take born, source of born. So what is the source of this lust and anger is rajoguna, mode of passion. So we are bound with these modes of material nature. So those are three: tama, sattvagun, rajogun, tamogun. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. So this when this rajoguna, the mode of passion, is the root to get that lust and anger. So what will happen when the lust and anger comes? Mahashano. Mahashano means it's all devours, like, ashana means like, destroying. Maha means like a huge, very destructive. So Mahashano, Mahapapma, greatly sinful. Vidhenam, know this, iha vairinam. Iha means material world. Vairinam, greatest enemy. In this material world, this lust is the greatest enemy, which is born in contact with the mode of passion, and which is all devouring, and which is a grateful enemy and sin enemy of this world. So let's see this verse, like, if anyone is in the battlefield, so what the person has to know, he has to know who is his side, and at the same time who are the opponent, like, in other side, who came to fight, right? So sometimes the warrior like need to know who is enemy, who is friend, who is this side, who is that side, so that he can fight properly, he can fight. So sometimes, like, some people play kind of mm, sabotage kind of stage, like, they stay in one group, but they take, like, right spot to turn back to their group as enemy, right? So that kind of thing is this lust is playing with us. So as a warrior, when we are, like, the one should know who is friend and enemy. So as we have to know what is friend for us and what is enemy for us, or what is going to help to us and which one is going to destroy within us, which is making us to go degrade or to make degrade ourselves. So that is the kind of thing lust is making. So lust is, it's considered as a desire. Kama means a desire. So it may be towards to any kind of thing. So it may be through any kind of sense object. It may be like that, like eyes or ears or smell, whatever it may be. So through these are the gates to enter that desire into us. So these indriyas are the gates, senses. So going forward, we'll discuss about the lust very, very elaborately, like, where are the places the lust sit, and what are the hierarchy, and where to curb the lust and everything. But in this verse, we are going to concentrate what effect of the lust and effect of the anger. That's what this verse is going to describe. So as Arjuna asked the question, what is that inner force which makes or forces us to do the sinful activities? Two things: kama and krodha, lust and anger. So why this anger later transformed into lust later transformed into wrath means, so take an example. In our, like, daily life, everybody will have the desires, like, the nature of the soul is to desire, and that we can't become desireless. So but we can dovetail our desires towards to Krishna, how we can see in the later in the purport. So that's kama. When the desire comes, see, consider, like, we have seen an object, and we got a desire, like, I want to buy that. So what will happen? Take an example of any kind of car or anything which we see, we like that model, or phone, whatever it is. So we like that model, we'll keep a goal, I want to buy that thing. Okay, then we slowly accumulate the money, or like, or planning towards to get that object. Then what will happen in that duration of time? Sometimes a few desires, it may take some time to fulfill, like buying a house or buying a car or anything. It takes some time, like, to accumulate the wealth, or to get like a right object or like that. So in that duration of time, if something happens to the desire which makes us not to achieve that desire, that object, then we get frustrated. Okay, how long I need to wait to get that object? So we can contemplate in our lives also. A lot of times we have a desire, I want one day to become that, or I want to achieve that or something. Then what will happen if we don't get that thing? It's not one day, means it takes time. So but meanwhile that circumstances are not supporting to achieve that object or that goal, the frustration comes in us. How long I need to wait to get that object, or how much I need to save to get that object? So if that object, whatever that desire is there, it still appears in and out in us. Like consider a car or model. So it still appears, like, one fine day you finished your work, you are coming from the office, and you have a goal to achieve, to get that car or sports car or something. But you are fine with till that time. When we stop at the red signal, when you turn and you saw that model of the car, that triggers, okay, I have a goal, but still I have this much money. How long I need to make this one? And if some obstacle comes and we used that money, whatever we stored for that object, then again frustration comes. So what that frustration leads, like an anger. See, it's not making me to go to attain that thing. That anger comes. That's how the lust, unfulfilled lust, leads to anger. First leads to frustration, that frustration leads to anger. In that anger, sometimes we lose ourselves. Sometimes we may go to the home and we scold, or we drop the things, or so a lot of things will happen. So that lust leads to, like, disasters, like, disasters. It leads to any place, it may keep us in any kind of situation. Like in previous, like second chapter, we discussed about the 62 63, like, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. In those two twin verses, like, Krishna described the cycle of self destruction. Like, first, how the senses contemplate on the sense objects. That contemplation itself is that leads towards to the destruction. So dhyayato vishayan pumsa, contemplating on the sense objects. Jnayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayate. So by contemplating on that object, see, I saw the car, but contemplating on that model of the car, I get attachment to that one, thinking about that one, seeing the colors, or exploring features of the car. So it makes me attached to that car. So Sangasteshu Pajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. By getting that attachment more and more, Kama comes, desire comes. I want that. Sanjat Sanjayate Kama, Kamat Krodho Bijayate. If that Kama is not fulfilling, then it leads to the Krodha. Then next verse comes 263. Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. So in that Krodha, we will become bewildered. We don't know what we are doing. Sammoha Smriti Vibhramaha. It makes our intelligent bewilderment. Keeps us in bewilderment, confusion stage. Krodhat bhavat sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha, smriti bramshat buddhinasha, buddhinashat pranashyati. So at last it makes us pranashyati, leads to us towards this destruction. But root cause of the two verses is contemplating. So we would see, even if we see anything, if we want, that's okay. But when we keep contemplating on that one, that's where we get attachment to that object, and that's where the desire will become strong. If that is fulfilling, that completely fine. Then what will happen if it fulfills? Then it's not going to stop there. Then it comes after one more desire. So after one more desire, that will also Krishna answers, like, it says, like in it says, like how the it's lust is kind of a burning fire. It's never satisfies and it never stops also. It's kind of like, growing like anything, one after the other. If it fulfills, then one more desire comes. If it not fulfills, then it leads to anger, and that's where the destruction starts, from anger. That's where Krishna is saying here, Kamayesha Krodayesha, the root for everything is lust. So here like we have seen like how the lust works in past times of Ajamila. So as I explained, Dhyaito, contemplating. So Ajamila was a Brahmana, but he regularly used to do, from childhood. He born in a devotee's family, where in a Brahmana family he did all the Vedic things and everything, daily routine work. But one contemplate, one sight, when he went to collect the wood, he saw the prostitute with a man. That sight, what makes him, then he went, just he saw and he went to home. Then he contemplated on that one. That contemplation was not allowing him to do the Brahmanical, whatever his routine work. It distracting so much. So that is the thing, like, contemplating leads, like, anything. So contemplating in a good way, like, on the scriptures and meditating, like now I am asking, contemplate these verses to our practical life. It means that it's going to be good, like it's going to be bring us like what we do wrongs. At the same time, we correct ourselves. But contemplating on the senses and sense objects, what is going to happen? It leads us to destruction. So Ajamila, contemplating, meditating on that saint, he got attached to that lady, and he left. In one point he left his wife, he left his parents and everything. He completely gave up his life to that lady, right? So that one scene, that is the root cause. If you dig, like, what is the cause for Ajamila's destruct, like, he fall down, means just watching that just seeing that scene. So then we will get a question of, like, okay, how can we walk like in the world, like, we see the things, even if we don't want to see, it comes in our in front of us. The things which we don't want to hear, it still comes like, let our ears hear. Then the first chance, like, how because it's a free world and everybody have free things, we see sometimes which we don't want to see, and we hear sometimes which we don't want to hear. But thing is, the second step, the first step, what it comes, but the next step is in our hands. So consider the same thing as Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur also, when he was chanting, the Maya Devi comes, and she also, like, she tried herself so much to attract Haridas. So even see, Hajamila saw the same thing, and Haridas is also seeing the beautiful lady. But what makes that Haridas, like, to control and to keep the higher, to keep the chanting of the holy name, whatever he is doing, to keep stick to that process, what he is doing is the intelligence, the higher taste he experienced. This is also we discussed in previous second chapter, which which, what is that one, by tasting the higher taste, all the lower temptations will get, like, get rid of. So Haridas knows very nice, very he had a complete conviction that Harinam is the one which is going to help. So he's not like telling, he's not escaped also. Okay, you wait, I have to finish my chanting. So at last, like, conquered, that lady Maya Devi is conquered by the pure chanting of the Haridas, and she became the devotee of Haridas Thakur. So this is how the Krishna consciousness is going to help us to conquer the lust. But at first sight, like, we can't walk on the roads with closed eyes, but whatever it's there. But we have to develop that kind of higher taste and capacity to not go towards to that one. So that is the thing, it's going to help us, like, it explains in the coming verses also, how our Natmika Shakti is covered the living entity, how Shakti is going to push us towards the Maya. So all these two things are going to explain the further verses. So one thing is that karma, whatever it said, Prabhupada explained in the last verse also, last paragraph also. So first thing is the karma comes. How the karma comes is, when we entered into this material creation, whatever love for Krishna we have, it transformed into the lust. because when the living entity Jiva want to enjoy independently leaving Krishna, that's where the love transfers into lust, because the when the Jiva want to enjoy with Krishna, then the happiness is very huge. When the Jiva, as it is like limited, as they are the part and parcel of Krishna, when they want to independently enjoy themselves, leaving Krishna, then their happiness is also tiny, because as they are by nature tiny, their happiness, their experience is also tiny. So that's where the love for Krishna is transformed into lust. So it's basically the same thing, is like keeping Krishna in the center, depending as Jiva's default position is described in scriptures is Jivera Swarupuhai Krishnera Nityadas. So the Swarupa of the Jiva is Krishna, Dasa of Krishna. So when the Jiva lives on this one, then what will happen? The lust is transformed into love. When the Jiva independently want to enjoy, disconnecting from Krishna, that's where the lust starts. So Prabhupada here explains the lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, because the first step is want to enjoy independently. That's where the lust came. So that's why lust is the one which is the greatest enemy, which is there within us. So here, if you see for Arjuna, so the Duryodhana, Karna are the enemies. Those are the external enemies, like, who are standing to fight with Arjuna. So they do, they give troubles to Arjuna or Pandavas by doing sinful activities. So they want to torture them, and they do sinful activities, and they give the troubles to the Pandavas. But here the karma is the one which is there within us, which makes ourselves to do sinful activities. Like alcoholic person, it's there within him, but he don't want to drink, but the inner force which makes him to drink, and which makes him to enter into the sinful activity. So that's the lust is which is there within us, and which is the greatest enemy for us. So there are like outer enemies and inner enemies, but inner enemies are the most dangerous than the outer enemies. So we need knowing that there is an enemy within us, that is the lust, that is itself is a big step. So that's why here it says, like, the inner enemies are more dangerous than outer enemies. Outer enemies, it gives us trouble. We go through, and at least we can estimate, or we can foresee that whatever they give the troubles. But inner enemies is a very, very dangerous, because we can't, until unless we completed that work, we can't realize we did wrong. That is the biggest thing. Inner enemy is the one of the biggest enemy. Inner enemy is lust, and lust sits in our heart. That's where, like here it says, lust, when the lust is not the fulfilled, the desire, karma is not fulfilled, it leads us to wrath. When it is fulfilled, it leads us to greedy, one after the other, all the desires comes. So this is what here Prabhupada explained. But here Prabhupada gives one more, the solution also. So if the mode of passion, instead of being degraded to the mode of ignorance. So this lust is make us to degrade to the mode of ignorance. But one can elevate also. So if one is situated in mode of passion, they are in the lust or karma, some desire came. There are two options. They may go degrade to themselves to the mode of ignorance, or they go elevate towards to the mode of goodness. To elevate to the mode of goodness, what Prabhupada is saying, by the prescribed method of living and acting. So how do we get that prescribed method of living and acting? So that is what Krishna consciousness makes us our life in a prescribed method, and which describes like how this scripture Gita is saying that one, that identifying ourselves, there is an inner enemy itself is the biggest step in our life. So then by doing this one, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. So that thing. So whenever, like, desire comes, sometimes mind plays tricks. Oh, why? Oh, okay, yeah, it's correct, I'm doing all the spiritual practices, it's a small desire, right? So it won't affect me so much. So that small, like, it sees the scope to enter. So when we keep ourselves in the center And that lust, when we invite, even in a sadhaka stage, when we are practicing very seriously the Krishna consciousness also, sometimes due to the material nature where we are living in, so the lust enters. Why can't I go to that place? It's just once. It's kind of recreation or something like that. The mind plays a lot of tricks. So if we do that kind of thing, then the mind asks more satisfaction. Okay, more go. So unknowingly we will end up like into the trap. So it may look like, very starting, it's like, just once like that, but it like, it will become repeatedly, and then we'll get trapped in that one. So that's how even like, even when we are until unless we are in this material world, we have to be very, very careful with this lust. So again, Prabhupada gives like, here, as I explained, like Krishna is ever increasing spiritual bliss. When the living entities as the part and parcel, when they want to enjoy themselves, their bliss or their happiness will become small. When they connect to Krishna, their happiness will become huge. So that's where here it says, and here it's Prabhupada mentions this material creation is created by the Lord to give facility to the conditioned soul to fulfill these lustful propensities. At the same time, this material creation is also works for the souls, conditioned souls who surrender to Krishna. It's kind of a media where they take this one as an opportunity to get out of this world and go to the Krishna. So there are two things: this material world, the people who want, are the conditioned souls who want to fulfill their senses lustful desires. It gives nice facilities for that one. At the same time, the souls, conditioned souls who surrender to Krishna, knowing all these things, and they just take this material creation as a media to get out of this one and go to the Krishna. So that's how this two ways it will work, the material creation. So it depends on the choice of the living entity. Then what will happen? So here it says like the inquiry. So the baffled, when the lustful activities, the living entity rotating repeated cycle of birth and death, by fulfilling all the lusty desires, what will happen? At prolonged lustful activities, by baffled completely, then the living entity begin to inquire about their real position. When the living entity got frustration, all these lusty desires, like repeatedly fulfilling the sense object desires, then it will become inquiring what is the real position of the living entity. That's where here it says like, atato brahma jignasa, inquiring. Jignasa means inquisitiveness. So inquisitiveness or self realization, self inquiring, it starts from here. So that's where there is that's where here Srimad Bhagavatam it says the origin of everything is Supreme Brahman. So if therefore lust is transformed into love, so when we connect to Krishna, towards to Krishna and Krishna consciousness, then whatever desires, the lust is transferred to the lust is transferred to the love. Because keeping Krishna in the center, then we do everything for the sake of Krishna, and we take that one as a remnants, as a Krishna's mercy. So in that way, lust won't affect us. Okay, so that's where desiring everything for Krishna, then both lust and wrath, everything is spiritualized. So Prabhupada gives here an example of Hanuman, how the Hanuman, like, he due to the anger, like with the anger, he burned the whole Lanka. By doing that act, actually he became a greatest devotee of the Lord. So if you burn a city, how can no one will say like, you are a very good person, you burn the city. No, but here for the pleasure of Lord Ram, great devotee Hanuman used the anger in the service of the Lord. So we can also use, like Narottam Das Thakur also says, I want to use anger on who blasphemes the devotees and spiritual masters or Lord or the pure devotees. I want to use anger in that way. So he want to detail all the things. I want to use my karma, my desires to make Krishna happy. Like if he have any desires, like he total to Krishna for the sake of Krishna, like that. So Narottam Das Thakur also says like that. Here Prabhupada gives the Hanuman as an example. So here again, Prabhupada says like Arjuna to engage his wrath upon his enemies for the satisfaction of Krishna. So Arjuna is using his anger by participating in the war, by fighting in the Kurukshetra. He used that one as a service to the Lord. So this is how lust and wrath are employed in Krishna consciousness, becomes our friends instead of our enemies. So I want to end up with one verse. What is it? Mm, One second. I want to show that verse. One second. Kama. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which comes about this lust. So a very beautiful prayer. We can offer this one to the Lord also. So I want to read this translation and verse. Kama dinam katina katita palita dutni deshas tesham jata mayina karunana trapano pashantihi ustrujjaitanata yedupate sampratam labda buddhis tvamayataha sharanam abhyam mam niyangshvatma dasye. So here it says kama. Kama means lust again. Adina means lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy, all the things. Kama dinam katina katita palita durnideshas. So I am here. It's saying I am like like I am led by all these. I fulfilled all the sense desires. Like if whatever desire comes, I accepted that one and I fulfilled. Then I palita means like I obeyed the requests of all my sense objects, all these things, anger, greed, lust, everything. Then what happened? Tesham jata mayina. But still, they haven't shown any mercy on me. Karuna means that sense objects or whatever the lust, anger, they haven't showed any mercy on me. Okay, now what will happen? Ustrujjaitanata yedupate samprutam labda buddhis. Here the labda buddhi, my intelligence has been awakened. Then with that awakened intelligence, I took shelter. Ustrujjaitan, I took shelter, giving up all the demands of the senses. At whom? Yedupate. Yedupate is Krishna. So I took shelter at the Lord Krishna. Then I'm begging, Tvam ayataha sharanam abhayam mam niyungshvatma dasye. So I'm asking you, please give me who are the shelter, please engage me in your personal service. Niyungshvatma dasye means please engage me in your personal service. So let's see the translation. Oh my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of my lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service that I have not shown any mercy to me, I have not been ashamed to serve them. So repeatedly the desires comes and I don't feel ashamed to to serve them. Nor have I even desired to give up them, but I am not dare to give up the desires also. Oh my Lord, O head of the Edu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened and now I am giving up them all. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted desires of these, unwanted orders of these desires, and I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. So it's kind of like the desires won't stop, it comes, and if we keep fulfilling, then it keep coming comes. And if we don't tell that desires towards to Krishna, that desires is going to make us elevate and get out of this material world. So I'll stop here, and if anybody have any questions or corrections or realizations, please go ahead. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your nice lesson. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, are you able to hear me, Mataji, properly?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you.
So, Mataji, quick question. So, in the perfect questions and answers, Prabhupada explained that something to the essence of like the foundation for this material world is the attraction that a male and a female have for each other. Now, if we connect that to this verse about
Prabhuji, your voice is
lust,
breaking now.
so is lust, yeah, Mataji, your connection is not good. So is lust the attraction a male lust any desire for sense gratification.
Last part I missed. Is lust? One is you said like, sense gratification.
Yeah, Mataji. So I'm asking, is lust the just the attraction in each other, or is lust that a person can have for whether
I can't hear you, Prabhu. Okay, so for
yeah, no worries. Yeah.
I'll repeat the question. So you said like, is the lust is only the male and female attraction, or something else, sense gratification and envy, that is also considered as lust? That's what your question is, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So, yes, Prabhu, lust is not only the male and female attraction, but the lust is even sense gratification, all others also. Because, we see the sense gratification like alcoholic, right? That one is also lust. It's a kind of sense gratification. It's not like kind of a male female one, but still that, as an example, I took alcoholic. So that is also lust. And I took an example of buying a car, and that is also lust. So for our comfortness, we feel that any desire, keeping ourselves in the center, and that is a lust. It's any desire, like, want a thing, or want a wife, or something of sex desires, whatever it may be. So unless we keep ourselves in the center, that is lust. When we keep that one, when we keep Krishna in the center and do for the pleasure of Krishna, that is what it transforms into the love. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, and Prabhupada, once recently I heard Prabhupada says comfortness, like, we feel comfortness in these modern days, like, like nice situations, or comfortness to our in our personal life. Comfortness is also one kind of sense gratification. That's what Prabhupada said in one lecture. So situating ourselves in a comfortable situation is also one kind of sense gratification. If we don't use our body, or if we don't use our efforts, ability towards to the Krishna, then that is also one kind of sense gratification.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So if anybody have any other comments or questions?
Mataji, one follow-up question on the same topic.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, your example of Hanuman using his anger. So, this question is about Ravana's lust for Sita. So, if that lust has to be dovetailed, so that means Ravana has to, instead of lust, it should be like either worshipping Sita as a mother. So, is that a dovetailing, Mataji?
Yeah. So yes, Prabhuji. So Prabhupada said, like, accept like our own wife, remaining all our mothers to us. So in that, as you gave the answer, like, as if Ravana, instead of, like, taking Sita, he worshipped like, Sita as his mother. That is a dovetailing only. Considering every other woman except his own wife, as a wife, remaining all as a mother. That is what, like, it should be as a described the way the Vedic culture. So treating everybody, other women, as a mother is, that's why we call every others as a Matajis. Mataji means mother. So if Ravana did that thing, like, worshipped Sita, then that definitely is a dovetailing and connecting to Krishna consciousness only.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. If anybody have any thoughts or any questions, anything to add to the Prabhuji's questions, please feel free to add. Okay, if no one has any comments or questions, so we will offer prayers to all the assembled Vaishnavas and we will end the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitana Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.